Alright, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be tinting the windows on this. Just from stuff you get at Walmart. So, I got Black Magic tint, it's just Walmart brand tint. And then I just got the tint film application kit. So, all you really need from that is the squeegee and then the application stuff. It's basically just soapy water, but they put it in a bottle and sell it for more money. So that's what we're going to be doing. I got 20% for the back windows, 35% for the front windows, and then 5% for the all the way back. So 35% is as dark as you can go legally on these windows, and then these windows can be as dark as you want, so I'm just doing 20%. And then same with the back window, you can do as dark as you want. So I'm doing 5% on the back. So I've got this, I've never used this before. It's for rear windows. It's like a smaller strip, so you do multiple strips across the rear window. So kind of excited to see how this works, because it's almost impossible to use a full sheet on the back window. It's not very fun, so I'm going to try that out. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is just make sure your windows are nice and clean. You want to clean them inside and out. I'll show you why in a little bit, and it just kind of helps having them clean on both sides anyway. But you will need to clean the outside if you want to do it the way that I'm going to be doing it.
That wasn't the glass cleaner.
That's not glass cleaner. You want to make sure you roll the window down a little bit so you can clean the very top of the window as well. Okay. Now that you got the window all cleaned, you want to take your film, and there's two sides to it. This side is the tint side, and this side is the protective layer against the adhesive side. So you want to put the protective layer on the outside and get yourself enough tint. You want to hold that there. Make sure you cover the whole window. Take some scissors and just cut it off. And then take your tint applicator stuff, spray it on the outside of the window. And the adhesive's still pointing out. This will hold it in place. Then you can either take a razor blade and go around the window and cut it out that way, or you can get a marker, trace the outside of the window, and then cut it out with scissors. And then you can pull your tint off of the car and cut it out on your line. And don't cut the bottom off. Leave the bottom long. because you'll want to tuck that into you'll cut that off later. The very top edge doesn't really matter, because we'll trim that off a little bit later too. So I always like to trim that a little bit bigger when you need it. The sides are really what you're trimming up to fit perfectly right now. So now you roll your window down so you got a crack all the way. Put your tint stuff back on the outside of the window. This has something to kind of hold the tint, and you can actually kind of test fit it a little bit here as well. See if your edges look good. Which they do look pretty good. Now, remember you put this on with the protective layer out. Now we'll peel that off. Mixture on here. Don't peel it all the way off, just peel it something like that. Spray the tint and the inside of the window. And have your squeegee ready. You can pull the tint off and put it right onto the window. Then I like to spray this onto the actual tint itself, and that makes it so your squeegee slides across it really good. So now you can set the top of the tint on, squeegeeing it off. Okay, now that you got the top edge of your tint applied, take a razor blade. I use a brand new razor blade every time because I don't know. Every time I use a not brand new razor blade, it grabs and just ruins the cut. So and then you can run the razor blade right on the edge of your tint. Now I like to run the squeegee off the window. Make sure you get all the air bubbles on this top edge out. And you can carefully make sure it's not stuck to anything. Roll your window all the way up. And you can pull the tint down. Or it's going to cover the whole window. Spray some more of this stuff in here. You can't use too much of this stuff. The more you use, the easier it goes on. So make sure you get a lot of it on there. And you can kind of just start working it on from the top down. Getting all the air bubbles out as long as you go. Now I go in the middle, push the tint down, and then you want to be a little past the seal. Mark it. And I just use that mark as a guide for to mark it on the rest. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight there because it's just getting tucked into the door. You just have to make sure it goes a little bit longer than that seal so that you can tuck it in. You'll never see any of this. Cut it off. You can keep that piece of tint for if you have a smaller window, but it's too small for any of the windows on this, unfortunately, so that'll just get thrown away. But sprint it down again. Keep working it the rest of the way down. You can get your razor blade and fine tune this cut a little bit more so it's a little longer than the seal. I just like to cut it like right along the middle of this window sill here. Get rid of that. Then, kind of the hard part is getting the squeegee in behind the seal. But once you get it in there, kind of slowly go across. And work the tint down behind the seal. And there you go. So this door is completely done. Now you just gotta repeat that step for all the other doors. So I'm gonna get this glass done, this door. I'll probably just time lapse doing that one, and then I'll get to doing the quarter windows, which is a little bit different, and then start working on the rear window, which I've never tried this stuff before, so that's gonna be a new learning experience. Okay, and as you can see, I got all the windows done. Got this one, this one, this one. I was gonna show this, I forgot to. It's the same process as this. You just spray it on the outside of the window, put it on the outside of the window, trace it out, cut it out, and then you just put it on. It's actually easier to do these because you don't have to tuck it into the seal. So, forgot to show it, but it's the same process, just on these windows. So, I think it looks awesome. This car looks way better with tint, and it's gonna be way nicer to drive. But I kind of pulled it over here behind the house to get a little bit more shade. Now I'm gonna work on the rear window. I did clean it inside and out, so this is what you get, and we'll do it one strip at a time across the whole window. So Never done this before, so see how it turns out. And I'm gonna do the same method. So I'm gonna take my tint spray, spray the window down, lay it on the window with the protective film pointing out. Cut it. Alright, and I'll show you guys a little bit, but that is the finished product. I did get the rear window tinted. That's the last thing you guys saw. It worked out pretty well. As you can see, there's a couple air bubbles in it, but I'll just have to work those out. There's just a little bit too much. What I find is if you let the tint dry out a little bit, and then you apply heat to it, and then you squeegee it down, you can get most of these air bubbles out. So I'll go through. There's only really like 3 of them, and then 1 right here. But overall, I think it turned out pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with it, and it'll be a lot better. So it's definitely a lot darker. Like I said, 20%, 5%, and 35%. So should be a lot better. This car doesn't actually have AC. That's something we want to add. So maybe after we put the new motor in it, we'll throw AC in it or something. But let me know if you guys want to see more of this car. We are going to be putting a new motor in it, but I think that's not going to be for at least another month or so. But yeah, and then I think we're going to get back to working on something on the Blazer. I have a few ideas, so stay tuned for the next one.